A Christmas Tale? It's a Wonderful Life? Christmas Be Jolly in the Workshop? Can someone on this podcast besides Catherine call A Christmas Story by its right name? Will Swade ever stop talking about Jimmy Buffett? And does anyone on this podcast actually like Christmas at all? This is Fake Film Fans.
Hey everybody, I'm Swade Best, your shining baby Jesus Christmas boy.
I'm Walter. I'm the squid tentacle that gets lost when a big squid-eating fish eats a piece of squid, but then forgets to eat the tentacle, so it's just floating in the ocean.
Oh. And I'm Catherine, and I'm the Grinch who stole Christmas.
Oh man, yeah, this is our late Christmas episode, I guess. Christmas can be whenever you want, right? Deep inside your heart.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
I was wondering about Christmas memories, if anyone has any sort of, because I can think of my one Christmas memory I have that has like stuck with me for a very long time has been there was this one Christmas that because my mom's side of the family was German, and in Germany they do Christmas at night, like when you open the gifts and all that stuff, they do it before instead of the Christmas morning. And so we wanted to do it Christmas morning one time. And my mom, of course, is like terrible at waking up. She like loves to sleep in. And so me and my little brother, God, I was probably like 12. So we wanted my mom and dad to get up, and we were watching VeggieTales because the only TV show that was on was like that was like cartoons, was like the weird Christian cartoon channel. I don't know if you guys got that growing up, but that was like one of the channels we could get on our rabbit ears, was like Christmas or Christian cartoons and like all this weird shit. Mostly cartoons about animals explaining how cool Jesus was to kids. But they were doing VeggieTales, and we were so bored. And we had this piano from when my mom thought that I was going to be someone who had musical skills. This did not happen. And we had this little cat, and I was like so bored, and I wanted my mom to wake up. And so we just picked up the cat, and we just dropped him on the piano, and the cat freaked out, and the piano made a whole bunch of noise, and my mom like stormed, like instantly was awake and stormed out and just like screamed, like roaring at us, like, "Quiet down, I'm trying to sleep, go back to sleep," and just like went right back to bed. And then in the morning she woke up like when she wanted to, and she was like, "Merry Christmas, you guys woke me up." It was a whole fucking pain in the ass. And I literally never have woken my mom up since. Like, even when I'm like running late for stuff and I need her input on something, usually trying to figure out who gets what car, because we have 4 people in my house, but only 2 people have cars, one of which is me.
I've been there.
Yeah, it sucks,
Yeah.
right? It's such a pain in the ass.
Musical cars.
My little brother had a car, and then he tried to drift it, and then he drifted it into a tree, and almost died.
Oh, fuck.
It was great. It was cool. He turned out unscathed, but it's because his car flipped around. If his car had been facing the other way, he probably would have broken his head. It's because he watched too much Initial D, which is this drifting anime. Walter probably. Do you know, Kat? Do you watch a lot of anime?
No. I've seen, like, the main ones. That's not even true.
The main
Which
one
one is that? Yeah, what's the main anime?
Like, Evangelion and Death Note.
Digimon,
No,
Pokemon,
so that's why I said never mind.
Dino Trucks.
Never mind.
Don't worry, it's okay. Anime is garbage, and it's propaganda to make us communists.
I don't know why Christmas is special for you then, because if it only brings back a bad memory.
Well, no, I have good fucking Christmas memories too.
I also have my memorable Christmas memory I thought of when you said that was a bad one, and I was like, well, maybe I won't say it because it's sad, but then yours was kind of sad, so. I don't remember how old I was, but I was like too old to be doing this. But like the Christmas memory I remember the most is like trying to run away on Christmas Day because I didn't want to go visit my family in Mississippi with my dad. So I like packed a bunch of shit in my backpack and just like left the house without telling anyone, just like to avoid going on this road trip that I didn't want to go on.
Did you write a note?
No. I just left.
What did you pack?
I packed some jackets, okay, a couple practical things, but then a lot of books and DVDs.
Of course. But did you bring a DVD player?
How old were you trying to run away at?
I did not bring a DVD player. I guess I was planning on going somewhere that had a DVD player. I was honestly like 15. Like, I was too old for this shit.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking, like, as a kid, I know kids pack a lot of impractical shit, but, like, still. Books? DVDs? That's, like, what can a kid do with that stuff?
Read them.
Yeah, exactly. You're, like, living under a bridge.
And I remember it was actually snowing, which never happens in December in North Carolina.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have even packed your jackets then, probably.
Probably not. Walter, what about you?
So honestly, Christmas in Hong Kong and I think in East Asia should be pretty different because Christmas is a Christian holiday. So most of the family stuff happens on Chinese New Year, at least in China. So yeah, I don't know. Christmas is like kind of a date holiday, I think.
Well, Walter. You're a kissless virgin, right? You've never even kissed another person. You've never held anyone's hand. So that must be hard for you during Christmas.
It's true. It's true. I actually haven't even like bought oxygen from a girl before yet.
Where do you buy oxygen from a girl, Walt?
I don't know.
Good improv. Good improv.
I just know that's what the manly chads do. So what I was gonna say though is that actually, like, if you follow really traditional calendars, which not all Asian families do, they follow the lunar calendar. So we celebrate winter solstice. That's like even more important than Christmas, because that's the day where the farmers do something. I don't even fucking remember what it is. Maybe they starve because it's winter.
The poor farmers.
I will say there is one Christmas that I really enjoyed, and that was in America. And I remember it very, very fondly because I got up at 8 a.m. and I started drinking alcohol, and I was super drunk, and I wanted to watch an anime. And I watched one of the main ones.
Which main one? Which one? Was it Dino Trucks?
No!
I watched Shirobako, which is an anime about girls creating anime at an animation studio. And the show is just very heartwarming because it makes everyone want to work and be a laborer because of how fun it makes working look like. And I binged 24 episodes in one day in 12 hours while super wasted. And I just remember, like, there were so many episodes that I just, like, felt my drunkenness, stood up, looked outside because it was snowing, came back in, shouted, "I love anime!" And tears of happiness would be flowing out of my eyeballs.
Okay, was this when we were living together, like, and I went home for Christmas to see my folks?
Yeah, we were all living together and everyone went home. And I was alone in Christmas, so, which is not even that abnormal. I've always had, I've probably spent more than 70% of my Christmases actually alone.
That's good. Well, that's powerful. Sometimes I know when you say that it's not actually a thing, especially because you guys you and your family don't have like a Christmas deal to do. But sometimes people will tell that to me, stuff like that to me. There was this kid. I'm not gonna say her name. But I worked with her at the movie theater I used to work at, and she came to work and she had like just turned 21, and she had a voice like this. So anyone who's listening to this who knows the Roanoke people I talk about knows exactly who this person is. And this person, I looked over this person, I was like, hey, so-and-so, how was your birthday? And she was like, it was alright, I went out to dinner with my parents. And I was like, oh, that's fun. Did you hang out with anyone? You do anything? And she looked at me, she goes, well, what am I gonna do? I don't do anything. I don't have any friends. And just like dead barreled me, just like looked at me. And I had no clue what to do. I'll call her Courtney. And so I just patted Courtney. I like literally had no clue what to do. So I just like slapped Courtney on the back once. I was like, oh, that's a good one, Court. That's real funny. Oh, God, a good joke. And then I just moved on because I had no clue what to say to this person who had just like, it's like, what do you say? Like, I'm sorry you don't have any friends? If you knew Courtney, you would know why she doesn't have any friends also.
Oh, no. But I know exactly what you're talking about. Something happened to me yesterday where someone asked me if I had New Year's plans, and I said, I'm just gonna stay home, like, Omicron, and not gonna have a party or anything. They were like, yeah, I'm gonna be alone too. I was alone on Christmas. And I'm like,
I mean, I think there are people who are very lonely because they're lonely on Christmas, but at the same time, my experiences with being with other people have been so miserable on Christmas too. Because because a lot of times I've studied abroad in different countries, so being alone on Christmas means I'm like crashing someone else's house, and it's always so awkward. It's the same with Thanksgiving in US. I don't know. People have their like etiquette, like everyone's like, oh, just be at home, stay at home, be free. And then they go, don't smack your lips. Please use a knife and fork. Don't eat with your hands. So sometimes I know I sound like the Scrooge or the Grinch on Christmas, but it's because when I go to people's houses, they're not like festive or whatever you want to call it. They're like grumpy.
My family is like not that into Christmas.
For anyone who wants to know sort of behind the scenes of Walter, this actually goes back to one specific event with a specific ex-girlfriend that like just totally ruined him on all American holidays. It is the kernel that is Walter's deep sadness on every American holiday. I didn't say anything to the microphone. It's all good. No, nothing to the. I didn't say anything to the microphone.
Okay, but there's also.
I knew it was that. I had a suspicion.
Do you also know this story, Catherine?
I don't know the story, but I was like, these examples are a little specific.
There is this one story. Okay, this is in England, so I apologize for my privilege of being able to study abroad everywhere. But in England, I crashed someone's house for Christmas. And there are like a few really bad memories I have there. Because number one, they were like a rural England family. So what they did for fun was like shoot pheasants and shoot skeets.
That sounds kind of fun.
The recoil of the gun one time hurt so much, but because I didn't want to look like a bitch, I kept shooting. And my thumb just kept going bigger and bigger. And by the end, I would just take the gun and just shoot at anything and be like, oh, I'm sorry I missed, and then give it away because it hurt so fucking much. And I couldn't even like hold the gun to shoot. And then second thing, I was already like, I don't know, I already liked movies. So I asked the guy like, hey, do you want to watch a movie with me? And he was like, sure. So we watched Once Upon a Time in America, and the movie was like 3 hours long, which I didn't even know. And he was like, oh, that was interesting. That was pretty cool. But then when we went back to school, he shit-talked me. He said he just came over and did nothing and made me watch a 3-hour-long American movie.
Oh, no.
He was so weird. It sucked.
To be fair, Walt, because that is all you do, is you do nothing and you watch 3-hour movies. I lived with you, I know this. And the trick to enjoying Walter, it's kind of like having a pet turtle. But it's a mean pet turtle. And so you like mess with the turtle a little bit and you like does its turtle things. And every once in a while the turtle will just like look up at you from its like bottle of baijiu that it's drinking and just be like, hey, you know that thing you care about that you like? It sucks. And then just like would go back to its. That's what it was like living with you, just like a mean drunk turtle.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, Catherine, if you ever decide to start over somewhere, you should just move in with Walter in Hong Kong and just like see what it's like.
Absolutely not. I visited his apartment in where was it? It wasn't Brooklyn, was it?
In Queens.
Oh God, I can only imagine.
Did you ever go there, Swade?
I can't leave Roanoke, Virginia, where I have panic attacks because I'm broken inside. So I've not been to New York.
But so I got there, and his nightstand was 2 cardboard boxes stacked on top of each other, and there was a hot water heater sitting on these 2 those electric kettles, was sitting on top of 2 cardboard boxes as a nightstand. And I think there was just like a pack of cigarettes next to it, and that was his nightstand.
I mean, that was what our apartment was like.
I think those boxes acted as shelves too, because they probably held all my books that I brought.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, I miss those days.
Today I was gonna talk about A Christmas Story or Black Christmas, and Walter told me we should talk about both. They're both by Bob Clark.
I did not know that, by the way, until last night.
Wait, Black Christmas, the horror film, and It's a Wonderful Life are both made by the
No,
same
A
director?
Christmas Story.
Oh, A Christmas Story. Still, that's weird. I didn't realize that either. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, A Christmas Story is something, like, was the Christmas movie in my house. Like, my mom is obsessed with it. So that's kind of, like, that and, like, maybe, like, Charlie Brown Christmas and stuff are, like, the main Christmas movies from my childhood. So I actually hadn't rewatched it in a while. And I rewatched it with my roommate, actually on Christmas Day, because I traveled back home on Christmas Day and I wasn't with family. And I realized how... I mean, I always knew it was a weird movie because, like, parts of it were freaky and weird, like, as a kid, but I don't know. I realized, like, I guess how, like, ironic it's trying to be in a lot of spots, and, like, sometimes it's working and sometimes it's not. Yeah, I mean, there's ableism and racism, of course, that I didn't notice as a child. But overall, I would say I enjoyed it.
Well, I actually have a question. So
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's in any movie that's been made ever, basically. It's usually not hard to, like, pinpoint the racism. Like, it's usually pretty, like, I watched The Grinch. Not a whole lot of racism, surprisingly. The original cartoon. I didn't pick up any. Anyways, but I'm interested to hear, ableism is something I don't necessarily notice, I guess, because I'm a shithead.
So, I think, like, have you seen the movie, Swade?
No.
Oh, wow. So the whole movie is from this kid's perspective, and he, like, there's a lot of funny parts where he's, like, daydreaming, because everyone's saying, we can't give you this BB gun because you're gonna shoot your eye out, like, you stupid kid, haha, you suck, and he's, like, daydreaming about his BB gun, and he, like, asks his mom for it, and she has the same reaction, and then he writes, like, an essay in his English class talking about why he wants a BB gun for Christmas, and he, like, imagines his teacher being like, this is the most wonderful thing I've ever read, and then he'll, like, imagine her as, like, the Wicked Witch of the West, and it has all these weird, like, imaginary, like, scenarios that he makes up in his mind, and one of them is when he gets in trouble for something, and he's really mad at his mom, and they put soap in his mouth because he said a bad word.
He said fuck.
Yeah, he says fuck, but they don't say that, and they're like, he said, they don't say it, but, they put soap in his mouth because he said a bad word, and he starts dreaming about, because he's mad at his mom for doing this, like, oh, wouldn't it, like, really show them if, like, because they put soap in my mouth that I became blind? He doesn't say this, but it just shows him, like, blind and, like, teetering around, like, begging for money, like a homeless person, and then he, like, comes into his house, and he's like, oh, I'm so upset, and they're like, what's wrong? And he's like, it was the soap. Like, so it was weird. It was like, oh, so, like, bad things happen to you, and, like, that's blindness. But yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of what we all did as kids. You
Yeah.
know? Just a lot of imagination and a lot of imaginative scenarios. It was fun.
Pretending to be blind.
Yeah, but so the like imaginary scenarios are, like, one of the cool parts I realized about this movie. There's one where he imagines his teacher as, like, the Wicked Witch of the West, and then, like, he imagines himself, like, in a Western style, like, vignette, like, saving his family from these robbers with his BB gun and stuff. The racism was, like, of course something happens with their turkey, and so they have to go to a Chinese restaurant instead on Christmas, because that's the only thing open. And this, like, staff of, like, assumedly Chinese Americans are, like, trying to sing them Christmas carols, and they're saying, like, fa ra 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 ra, like, over and over again instead of, like, fa la la la, and they're, like, a lot of, like, making fun of their pronunciation and stuff, and I was like, that was a little cringe. Otherwise, I think it's still held up. I mean, it's nostalgic for me, so.
I worked downtown, and there's this, like, place on my way to work called, like, Center in the Square, and the fucking Christmas downtown was insane. But there's one of the things you can do in Center in the Square is, like, buy tickets to go see, like, the plays at the, like, local shitty theater. I shouldn't say that. I actually know some people who work with the theater, and the plays are okay. And one of them was It's a Wonderful Life. Is that the movie? What's the fucking title?
It's not. It's a Wonderful.
Okay, what is this movie called? A Christmas Story?
It's A Christmas Story.
Okay, so I keep walking every day. I go to work. I walk past this, and there's this tinny machine that's like like talking about the plays that are going to happen, like, and they talk about this movie, and they always say at the end, but remember what they say, we'll shoot your eye out, kid. And I'm just like walking, and there's just like these like pink-haired homeless teens, one who's sporting a new facial scar that runs like from his like earlobe down to his chin, and they're like arguing over cigarettes, and they like stop me and like, ask for change, and I give them the change if I have it. Like there's like all these like rich yuppies walking around, and the whole time in the background it's just, and you'll shoot your eye out, kid. And so I had no clue what this is, and now I have context to like the nightmare that is
A Christmas Story. Is like kind of fucked up because all the humor is just about like how this family is dysfunctional, and like the dad is like yelling all the time, and the mom is like tired, and like bad stuff keeps happening, and like that's like what all the jokes are about. So it's kind of weird.
That's like life. I mean, my Christmas morning, half of it was like me yelling at my dad because he just like, I woke up and I just like needed a cup of coffee, and he just wouldn't be quiet. And for like 5 minutes, I was just like, please just be a little quieter. Come on, Dad, just a little. Finally, I was like, oh my God, just please, you're killing me. I finally just went out and like chain smoked while drinking coffee because he would not shut up. And you like, I try not to be like the edgy loser and be like, shut the fuck up, Dad, you're so fucking, like I try very hard not to do that. Every once in a while I slip up.
Give me my toast,
you bitch. Take your weed pills.
The one thing about A Christmas Story, though, that we were talking about the family, right? But there is something a little bit more like, I also thought it was just like a dysfunctional family, kind of done in an ironic tone. But the parents actually are kind of heartwarming. They have their heartwarming moments, and the mom definitely has some intense mom energy. I don't know what it was, but there was like a moment in that film that I was like, damn. Moms are pretty great.
And then you look back at your mom who like was getting ready to slap you because you weren't tall enough.
Yes, sure. No, but I didn't think the mom was very hot. But then when that scene happened, I was like, damn, she's pretty attractive. It was a really weird moment in my life.
Deeply pathological.
Yeah, it was like literally not attractive, and then mom energy, and then my brain was like, damn, she's pretty attractive.
That is amazing. That's just that is peak. That is exactly, I know that feeling though, because every time I watch a TV show or a movie where there's like a girl or vaguely feminine Timothée Chalamet type boy who's like smoking a cigarette, and then it's like, maybe things do matter, I go from like, I don't want to talk to you, to being like, oh my God, get in my house.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the moment where he gets in a fight with like the big bully, who, by the way, scared the shit out of me. He has braces and like a coon hat, and he's like tall compared to the kids, and he's like so scary. He gets in a fight with him and he beats the shit out of this bully, and the mom just like doesn't really like tell the dad, because they're all like, the dad's gonna kill him like if he finds out. So the mom just like kind of keeps it a secret, and that was really nice.
Yeah, and like she was serving like kind of gross mashed potatoes and meatloaf too, and then like she serves it again at that dinner where she doesn't tell the dad, and I'm suddenly also like, damn, that mashed potato and meatloaf looks pretty good.
Oh my God.
The second thing I liked about this movie too was I like food, and I think one of the greatest things about Christmas is food. And I think it sucks that a lot of Christmas movies don't abuse the fact that you can like have good food on the table. And I don't think this film had particularly great looking food, but it was still better than like most Christmas films I've seen. So, and as you said, like the last Chinese scene, I know it's a little out of place, and fa la 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 is, yeah, a little, cringe, but what I did like was they called the duck Chinese turkey, and they could never go back, and that made me proud.
Yo, you know what, actually, I remember the food scenes, but I know Swade picked Animated Grinch, and I remember the food in that movie is dynamite.
That little movie, that is like 26 minutes of just absolute weirdness. The reason I picked this was because when I was little, and this just like shows you how strange... This shows you that, like, my parents should have put me in counseling way earlier than they actually did. There was a point in my life when I was 5 years old, and probably for about 3 months, I could not go to sleep unless my mom put on the Grinch, the animated Grinch TV special. So just, like, for 3 months of my life, that was, like, all that they could do to make me go to sleep. And I also refused...
That's, like, seared into your, like, the deep folds of your brain.
So I actually don't remember anything before, like, age 8. So this is just, like, things that have been told to me. As I watched it today, I did get, like, warm feelings, but I couldn't remember any of it. It's a weird one, though. Is Boris Karloff is the main narrator. He's, like, almost the only one that's ever talking, and he also is the voice of the Grinch, which is, like, super weird. Because he sounds exactly like he does in The Mummy. And Boris Karloff was also another mainstay in my childhood. My dad would put on all the old movies, and that was, we watched The Mummy, and, I can't remember the other movies he was in, but I remember watching many of them as a kid. But it's just like a weird little movie. It's also weird now because, like, Dr. Seuss kind of got canceled.
Yeah.
Here's my quick spicy thoughts about that as someone who works in a bookstore. It's not about, like, the books are racist. That's clear. It's more about the Seuss people themselves. What I think is, like, total bullshit is they're, like, bandwagoning onto this, like, wokeness train. The Seuss estate just takes these books out of print, which is chill because because they have some nasty things in them, but they don't actually do anything to combat the racism. It's like a complete simple action. They're 2 books. No one had heard of them. Also, no one, like, these are not, like, famous Seuss books that got taken out of off the shelves and out of print. So all they did was make sure that they can't be sold in main places, which rackets and jacks up the price of these books. I mean, they went from, like, $8-9 online to, like, $20-30, $40-50. I mean, it's like totally a cash grab. It's there's no authentic, like, caring. It's despicable. Anyhow, there's some weird stuff that happens in The Grinch, but I think the first thing I want to say is that The Grinch is, like, kind of thick. He's kind of round. He's, like, kind of got a pretty serious dad bod.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, he's got a big butt. And no, but the Grinch, and there's some other scenes where, like when the Grinch's, like, heart expands and it's, like, really soft and squishy when it, like, pops open, and, like, there's, like, another scene where he's, like, sinking down the chimney that's also soft and squishy.
He struggles to get down the chimney, right?
For just, like, a split second. Yeah, but for a split second. And I started thinking about all the erotic content I consume, and all of the cartoon characters that I was deeply attracted to and still am, and I think this actually may be the genesis. This is, like, the movie. Just, like, the softness in the film is, like, so attractive, like, on a sensory level to me. Like, watching it, I suddenly remember these feelings of, like, prepubescent sexual identity, just wanting to, like, squeeze the Grinch. There's just, like, a lot of softness to grab.
So in some ways you can think of it like this: because you didn't know what masturbating was as a kid, those 3 months you just needed to masturbate before going to bed, and your mom was down with it.
Okay, that was the problem. The problem was, actually, you want to know what it may have been?
Not really, but tell me.
It's actually much sadder. So it might have been post 9/11. This is, like, just, like, my insane brain. I had this very vivid fantasy as a child of, like, terrorists, just, like, this vague idea of bad people that they were telling me on the news. We're gonna helicopter over my house, lift up the roof while we were asleep, and just drop ropes down, and the dudes would, and they were always, like, dudes dressed up in, like, SWAT, would just, like, slide down the ropes, and then where we're all sleeping, they would shoot us in the head. And so, like, it may have been some of that.
So instead of a SWAT team, you were hoping that the Grinch would drop down.
Yes, his big soft belly and butt,
and give you a big kiss.
And I could touch it and squeeze it. That's really what I remember, actually, because rewatching it, there's, like, not a whole lot. I remember Cindy Lou is also very cute. She, like, looks like a worm. She, like, is wearing a little onesie. She's like the little girl that catches the Grinch, and she's like, "Santa, why are you stealing the tree?" And the Grinch is like, "Yo, fuck you, I'm gonna fix it." It's, you know, there's this other thing that's wild. It takes the Grinch, like, starts when it's, like, they just go to bed, stealing everyone's stuff, because he, like, sneaks in and steals everything. And at the text says at 1:15 he's done stealing everything. So this dude, like, robs an entire town. He steals everything in, like, basically a knight, which is pretty fantastic. It's not as good as Santa, who does the whole world, but
Yeah, I apologize. I actually don't know what dawn is. I thought dawn and dusk. What's the difference?
Dawn is the morning.
Yeah, when the sun rises, dude.
Dusk is when it goes down.
But they look the same.
Kinda.
No, they don't look the same.
They
One
look
is going up and one is going down.
No, but like if you take a picture of both of them, they look the same.
I think they might look a little different.
That's why it's confusing.
Yeah, so it's very confusing.
Yeah, because one is night and one is day. That is very complicated. This is something I noticed as an adult. The Grinch actually is not that bad of a guy, because his issue with Christmas is everyone is so fucking noisy. He says the kids get all these toys and they make a shit ton of noise and it's so loud. And he talks about all the instruments. I'll just like list a few because they're not just like horns and trumpets. They're a bunch of like Dr. Seuss shenanigans. So he complains about the tube flubers, the tum talkers, the blum bloopers, and the will wumpers. And there's like a bunch of shit like that. That's just like, you know, Dr. Seuss stuff. And he's complaining about how noisy these kids are and how that they're such a pain in the ass. And then he's like, and then they have a giant meal, and that's really noisy too. And then finally they sing, and they just won't be quiet. I hate the noise. I get that. My best writing when I'm writing is done in the winter because the birds are quiet because they're dying, I guess. I think that's how the winter works. And so I get to sit outside with like my space heater and my 3 layers on, my pot of coffee and my pack of smokes, and I can just like sit there and write, and it's too cold for anyone but me, and so I can write. But like as soon as the summer hits, the birds refuse to shut up, and like my family comes outside and they're like people mowing, and it's such a fucking pain in the ass. I just want the world to be quiet. Even like in the morning in the summer when I like go out to smoke a cigarette and drink a cup of coffee, the birds are doing their bird thing. And it's like such a fucking pain in the ass. It's so obnoxious. So I feel...
Why are you so mad about bird sounds?
I hate birds. I hate them.
I mean, I don't like birds, but there's nothing wrong with bird sounds.
Oh no, I can't stand it. They like jangle my brain. I'm like sitting there trying to write, and the birds are just like screaming, and like their babies are in nests nearby, and the babies are screaming.
They're not screaming.
They are. They're screaming, and I hate them. I actually wrote a short story about a guy who was so angry at the birds that he burned down his house, and it was
based on a true story.
It was, but I referenced Chairman Mao and his like 3 great his 3 great pests thing where he like killed the birds. I referenced it a bunch, and I actually had someone in the fiction workshop group who like took me aside and was like, "This is totally inappropriate." And she didn't say it was totally inappropriate. She didn't take me aside. She said that it was too dark of a story, and I was like, "It's not. What do you mean? It's funny." And she's like, talking about burning down houses and talking about, you know, the great and brutal violence of Chairman Mao. I don't know. Jeffrey Dahmer got referenced to, whatever. But so I cannot stand birds, is the point. I just wish the birds would shut up, and they don't, and it's killing me. Global warming is killing me. The birds have been more noisy this winter. I've not gotten as much work done as I'd like. But I don't throw things at them. I let the birds be because it's not their fault. I do scream at them, which is always good for my neighbors, especially during the summer because I'm like hot, so I'll just like be sitting outside like in just my underwear, like with like in the writing zone, and I'll just like turn to a bird and I'll be like, "Shut the fuck up, you stupid bird! I'll kill you." So that's the Grinch. I think I feel comfortable saying I would have sex with the Grinch. Does that make me a furry?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe it's actually that's even more of an interesting question than that shitty Lola Bunny question.
Because Lola Bunny is obvious. She's got sexy curves. Even if you, like, wouldn't actually have sex with her, you can see why one would have sex with her.
I don't know who she is. Is that Space Jam?
Yes.
Yeah, Space Jam.
Okay. I actually watched Space Jam for the first time this past year. So
nice.
I know what that is. Yeah, she's very curvy. Yeah. I wasn't sure what you were talking about.
What about Bugs Bunny?
Bugs Bunny is not curvy.
No, he's not. But he has a good sense of humor.
No, he's annoying.
Okay, well, so...
Anyways, we don't need to talk about Bugs Bunny.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question, Catherine? Do you feel like
Yes.
sometimes you're the Grinch at Christmas?
I definitely have been, like, especially in reference to, okay, specifically I'm thinking of Sarah, who's obsessed with Christmas. Her family does, like, a big Christmas, and, like, we lived together in undergrad, and she would always want to play Christmas music and, like, put stuff up. Honestly, it's mostly the Christmas music that I will be a Grinch about. Like, I don't want to fucking hear Christmas music. I just don't. I don't like it. It's bad. It's just not a vibe that I want around me. I don't know, I hate it. So yeah, I'm definitely Grinch about that.
I've been called the Scrooge of Christmas or the Grinch of Christmas, the grumpy one at Christmas all the time. But I always feel like there's a difference between, like, getting shoved a Christmas song or getting shoved a Christmas carol or getting shoved a Christmas movie and then being grumpy about that, than going around the streets and being grumpy at Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel sometimes those fucking Christmas lovers have taken the words Scrooge and Grinch and misinterpreted it, which is why I was curious if you've ever felt like the Grinch or the Scrooge.
Yeah, they feel offended when you don't want to partake in the Christmas joy. So they lash out, you know, it's it's horrible.
Yeah, which is crazy because in normal days, someone's on a roller coaster, someone's going wee-ha, and then someone's crying. You don't, like, lash out at the crier. You go, I'm glad you had fun.
I love Christmas, but here's what I will say. The problem people have when they try to do Christmas with, like, their not family is that they want their Christmas to be like it was with their family. And that's just like, so for instance, Walter, if you and I were spending Christmas together, it would not be like the thing we do where, like, you know, my family has, like, their Christmas fucking stuff. And we, you know, we, like, my mom puts on the old German Christmas music that her mom used to play, and we, like, put the presents under the tree and stuff like that. And then me and Rocky go and smoke a little bit of pot, and, like, watch dumb cartoons. You know, but if it was us, if it was all three of us, we would, like, have new Christmas holidays, right? Like, it would probably involve a lot of drinking and a lot of, like, bullying Walter and, like, you know, I don't know. I think that's the problem is people are like, no, you have to have Christmas the way I used to have it. And you don't do that with any other holiday. Like, no one at Halloween is like, well, we need to do it like when I was 6, where, like, my dad would drive me to the rich neighborhood to get the best candy.
People do that for Thanksgiving.
People do that. It's because it's a family holiday, right? I think if you're not going to be with your family.
Yeah, it's actually really funny because what I remember most clearly is I tried to celebrate Mid-Autumn Festival in America, and I wanted, like, to make it a little proper. So I, like, got everyone to bring out candles and walk around on the school campus with some candles. It was freshman year. And everyone was not taking it seriously. We're laughing about it, making fun of my holiday, and I felt bad about it. But from that day on, I realized I shouldn't make people care about holidays like the same way I do. But at the same time, every fucking Thanksgiving and every fucking Christmas, they always expect me not to smack my lips.
See, that's such bullshit. Well, I feel so, like, I think that's the problem with college kids, right? Is they, like, think they understand how to be humans, but they're just as terrible as when they were in high school. They've, like, got new words, but they're still gonna be like, oh, this guy celebrates not Christmas? What a fucking loser. And, like, give them a hard time because they're, like, drunk and insecure. Yeah, because we didn't celebrate, we didn't really celebrate any holidays when we were living together.
I mean, because it's extra work, right? I would, like, let's say, if someone was, like, down with it and we're like, yeah, let's go and get a mooncake and go extra far, of course I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Or, like, if Chinese New Year people were like, yo, let's actually get something small and celebrate, I would do it probably. But as an individual to, like, have to want to force that on people who just don't give a shit, it's not easy to find that motivation unless I want to be, like, an extra proud Chinese person. But that's why I remain a slight bit of the Grinch, and maybe it is mellowed, but I do know when I was a teenager, my Grinch levels were, like, extra high.
I spent 30 hours a week this entire month listening to Christmas music.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I kind of like it, and I have, like, a very specific Christmas playlist I put on when my boss isn't around, full of songs I like My Chemical Romance's cover for All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is the best Christmas song. I like Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys. That's another one. I do like Christmas music. It does get tiresome. Yeah, and I don't know why people think, like, Christmas music needs to be happening in stores for so much.
It does not. I would always feel pressure, because actually when I was in high school and, like, the first year at Goucher, I worked at an independent bookstore in Greensboro, and I would always feel pressure when I had to choose the music. Sometimes I liked it if there was, like, not my boss around, because then I felt like I had freedom. but if he was around, I would just put on stuff that I like knew he liked.
Yeah, my boss and I have a secret war going on, which basically I folded, and I only... She's always like, you need to play the music that will help the customers shop. But that just means the music she likes. And luckily, she actually is the reason I got into Jimmy Buffett. I actually really like Jimmy Buffett, and it's because she would play it all the time.
Nice.
I think it's like a weird pick for a bookstore, but I really like, especially, I like Fins. I think Fins is my favorite song by Jimmy Buffett. But Margaritaville is also fantastic. There's like a lot of pathos in that song. I've been thinking about writing a novel, and the epigraph for the novel is the lyrics to Margaritaville. What's your favorite Jimmy Buffett song, Walter?
I haven't listened to any Jeff.
You don't know any Jimmy Buffett songs?
I just know Margaritaville.
What do you mean, Cheeseburger in Paradise?
Oh, I know that one.
Fins?
No, I don't know Fins.
The one about, I wish I had a pencil-thin mustache? Dude, they're classics. Okay, well, Catherine, you both need to listen to Jimmy Buffett. It's good shit. It's fucking fantastic. Whenever I'm grilling during the summer, I put on Jimmy Buffett. Peak Grill Dad energy.
I think my grandma likes him.
Dude, me and your grandma would probably get along.
Yeah, probably.
Wait, I have one more Jimmy Buffett thing, which is that,
Oh
I'm sorry, no, this is just, so I was driving to work yesterday, and I was sitting behind someone at the stoplight, and their bumper stickers said, peace around the world, coexist. They had a don't tread on me flag, and they also had a Margaritaville Jimmy Buffett sticker on the back of their car. And I knew everything I needed to know about that person at that moment. I was like, I know exactly who you are. I don't even need to like pull up next to you to see what kind of face you'd have. I know who you are. I'm sorry. I apologize for my Jimmy Buffett proclivities.
I accept you.
No, it's all good. I don't know him at all, so I just... Yeah. He sounds fun. He sounds like he sings about a lot of food, and I like food.
He does, actually. He has a song called I Will Play for Gumbo.
And I like gumbo. And I like margaritas.
And burgers.
And I like breakfast. And burgers.
And burgers, and breakfast and burgers.
I don't like burgers.
You don't like burgers?
Well, I don't eat meat. I like fake
fair.
burgers, but I feel like that's not what you meant.
Well, I mean, Jimmy Buffett never... I mean, I actually have to look at the lyrics to Cheeseburger in Paradise, but I'm not sure he ever explicitly states what kind of burger it is.
That's true. It can be a veggie burger.
He does say, I like mine with lettuce and tomatoes with a side of French fried potatoes.
I just kind of wanted to test how long Swade would go on about Jimmy Buffett. So.
I could tell.
I mean, I have more thoughts about Jimmy Buffett. Because I've been thinking about starting a Jimmy Buffett punk cover band called Jimmy Fuck It. And it would just only be punk covers, like hardcore covers of Jimmy Buffett.
Okay, that's true.
Is that enough? Is that enough now? Because I mean, like I said...
To tell you this last week, but I mean the last time we did this, but I completely forgot. But I've been watching the Andy Griffith Show because I'm true to my fucking word.
Dude, how good is that fucking show?
It is good, but I'm not gonna be able to finish it. Like, it's too long, and I think the show is fun. I can watch if this was on TV and I was with my grandma every Sunday and it was on. Yeah. It would be the greatest thing to put on.
See, now that's how I watched it.
But to binge in my bed for 4 hours is very difficult.
No, that's grandma and Pep are stopping over and you put it on TV so no one has to talk about how Barack Obama is the president and he's black and it's a problem.
Yeah, so I have enjoyed it, but I've only been able to enjoy it through binging, so it's been a little damn, I can't binge this right now. So, but I did get up to the Christmas episode, and they also use the stooge and stooge stereotype where basically a grumpy old man sends a family into prison, and because Andy Griffith's so charismatic, he makes Christmas in jail, and this grumpy old man is just looking from outside and is like, wow, they're having so much fun. So he keeps trying to get in jail, but because it's Christmas holidays, they keep rejecting him and not letting him go to jail. So that was the whole episode. Yeah, which is very fun and very cute.
Andy Griffith is also kind of fuckable, right?
Yeah, his smile is really good, dude. He has a really fucking great smile. And honestly, I can say this because I'm Chinese, right? It's kind of Chinese the way he smiles. His eyes goes slanty.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment.
I think everyone's eyes do that a little bit when they smile, don't they?
Yeah, but his go really slanty, dude.
Okay.
it's like why I know this is like a bad stereotype, but like a lot of people think Asians have good smiles because honestly, out of every part of my body I've ever been complimented on, it's literally been close to 0.5%. Except I always get, "You have a great smile."
Aw. You do have a great smile, Walt.
I think you have a cute little belly, Walt. You got a cute little tummy. I want to just like beat on it like a drum.
All right, so now it's 0.6%.
I did not need to know today how much Swade likes round bellies.
Hey,
You'll learn more and more as we keep going.
every episode is just one step closer
to like finding where your sexualization is coming from.
Peeling back the layers.
I'd be down to talk about Black Christmas a little bit.
Yeah, I did rewatch it. I watched it last year around Christmas.
And did you watch the original or the remake?
The one from the 70s. I watched it for the first time last year and I thought it was amazing. Last year I was also like going through like a giallo phase, so I was really into like, you know, the body horror and like the visuals of like people stabbing each other with like pretty lights and stuff. And Black Christmas has that pretty well. Yeah, I just think this movie is so cool. The outfits are on point. Every single outfit is amazing. It's like genuinely scary because you're like looking at everything a lot of times from the point of view of the creepy guy, so they don't have to rely on like jump scares to build like fear and tension, I think, which is cool. And I also think it has this cool thing. I watched the first time, I really liked it, that it kind of takes place of like, in like the setting that Walter, you're kind of talking about, where like everyone else kind of goes home and you're just with like the leftover people at your college dorm. And like that's like the setting of the movie. And I thought that was kind of cool because that's not like really a setting that you see that much. So
I appreciate that point, actually. That's really cool. I didn't think of it like that, and it is like that. I just like for me, Black Christmas is such a weird slasher for me because I don't love it. And I know a lot of people think the kills are really interesting. I actually think they're kind of boring.
They're fine. There's only one that's really good. Like when they're like stabbing someone with like a crystal like unicorn. That's like the only cool one, but I think that one's really cool.
It is. The other question I have though is like, do you think Black Christmas really needs to be set in Christmas? Cuz I have like two feelings of a tale a Christmas Tale and Black Christmas. Like for A Christmas Tale, it kind of embodies those type of Christmas movies where to really capture the celebration and the spirituality of Christmas, you have to not celebrate, but you have to like really be involved with the capitalistic part of Christmas. And for Christmas Tale, it does it ironically and satirically, but I don't really know if like that's like an easy film to like make kids understand that wanting a BB gun is supposed to be satirical, right? And then for Black Christmas, it has the other issue that I have with a lot of Christmas films is that, I mean, I feel like half of these Christmas movies would work just as fine if they weren't set in Christmas. And then it makes me wonder, like, why are they Christmas movies then?
Well, I think it's like, I like Christmas movies like this where it's not actually about Christmas. It just happens to take place during Christmas because I am not Christmas is not a huge thing for my family. And yeah, I think like I said, I think that this movie kind of does have to be set around Christmas because it's like everyone's going home and like she's kind of stuck there because her mom like doesn't want her to, like is going off with her boyfriend or something. Like, and then this other girl like was supposed to meet up with her dad to go home but like got killed before that, so like he's floating around being like a character in the sorority house. I don't know, like there's the cool lights and like them like looking for someone out in the woods in the cold, you know. I don't know, I think it just adds to like the vibe in the background that it's Christmas.
That was what I was thinking about, is the parts of the movie that like use the lights as a set piece, right? Because there are like Christmas trappings in there that would make it feel like it. I think it would be just another generic slasher if it weren't for the fact that isn't it like the slasher? It's like the first slasher movie kind of.
Yeah, people say that.
But I think without the Christmas angle, it would just be, I mean, like another co-eds getting murdered, right? Like there's the, and I actually I was talking to this about a lady in the bookstore because she was looking for a good horror novel, but one that like she doesn't read a lot of horror, so she wanted something that like wasn't too terrifying. And I found one for her. And the difference between the two books that
is that a flex too?
I mean, it can be. I am really good at my job.
Yeah.
I am very good at my job, actually. But the book I gave her, it's got a lot of horror stuff in it. It's got like monsters and like blood and guts, but the it doesn't like push at this like central piece of anxiety where, like, you know, when you read something like The Shining, the terror and the anxiety that's in The Shining is at its core, it's about substance abuse and child abuse, and it's about the cycles of those things repeating over and over again. And I think there's definitely some of that in Black Christmas, which is like the isolation that you feel not being by yourself, but the isolation you feel being without your family, right? I mean, these girls, this is like probably the first time they're living on their own, like without their families and stuff. Like there's a level of anxiety and terror that's manifested partly because you're juxtaposing a familial holiday, something that's like comfortable and traditionally in the media people spend together, right? Like it's got this like ideal version, and instead you're getting like murdered.
Yeah, I like this conversation. It actually made me... I actually didn't realize... Because the issue is when you read Black Christmas reviews, and maybe it's just because I'm bad at reading, a lot of the reviews are just like, greatest Christmas movie ever! Woohoo! And it's just like... I didn't understand that, like, everyone was, like, relating to the anxiety and the loneliness part of that. So I just thought people were like, this is a great Christmas movie. Just feels like my capitalist buying good Christmas films. So, and everyone does relate to the anxiety and the bad parts of Christmas and the sad stuff about it. And people do relate to that. Everyone does. And that's why that film is popular. I guess because I didn't bring a film, we're gonna try something new, and we're gonna play a small game where I list out random stupid Christmas films, and we'll see if you guys can guess the plot. How about The Apartment by... Should I say who it's by?
Yeah, sure, because I've seen this one. I know this one.
Really?
The Apartment?
Yeah.
By Billy Wilder?
Yeah, so basically what happens is there are these two trolls, and... The trolls, they live off of toes. They're called toe trolls. And at night while people sleep, they come and they eat the dead skin off your toes. And so the whole movie is them sneaking into people. It's kind of like Mouse House. You ever seen Mouse House?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, it's a movie about a mouse that's in a house, and these assholes keep trying to get rid of it, and they can't. So it's kind of like that, except whenever the people are not paying attention, it's these tiny trolls with like little knives, just like slicing off people's like toenails and stuff like that. It's kind of like 3 hours. It's a 3-hour film. It's kind of like 3 hours of those like YouTube videos of like people like cutting other people's toenails. It's pretty much that for 3 hours. Fantastic film. I love it.
I think The Apartment is about one of those, you know, that Disney Channel movie called like Smart House, where the
Smart House
like comes alive,
absolute classic,
and starts attacking you. Yeah, I think it's like that, but set at Christmas, obviously. So the house is maybe, you know, just setting things awry in the Christmas scene, the knocking over the Christmas tree, stealing people's presents or destroying presents, and like making the lights go wonky, and the family's just going nuts. They can't handle it.
What is wrong with the house?
It's haunted. Like someone died there 10 Christmases ago, and they want to ruin Christmas for everyone else, you know. So they try and like exorcise this Christmas demon that's embodied in their house, and that's how they spend their Christmas. In the apartment. It's not a house, obviously. It's an apartment.
So this is like Monster House Christmas movie. I like that.
Yes. Which one wins?
Yeah, which
Walter?
one wins? This is a game.
You know what? Okay, we'll do it like that. Which one's closer?
Which one did you like better?
No, I don't want to do that one.
Walter actually can't like either of those movies because it's all about the plot. We didn't talk about the shot structure or the pretty lights or which cute French girl is going to be smoking a cigarette. So he won't actually be interested.
The apartment is actually smoking cigarettes. The apartment smokes them through the chimney.
The trolls. They're
giant cigarettes.
All the trolls' clothes are made out of cigarette butts.
I don't even know if Swade's synopsis is actually in an apartment building, so I think Catherine gets the win on this one.
Yay!
I heard in a rug underneath somewhere. I don't even know if that's like outside, inside on Mars. So yeah, I think unfortunately, at least Catherine's is on Earth.
I didn't want to bring this up, but he also did not reference Christmas. So.
That's true. I did not reference Christmas. You're right. It's because I've been watching these videos of people cut old people's toenails. It's super horrifying, but I'm kind of into it.
I was gonna say that sounded way too specific, and I'm upset.
Okay, how about the next film I will reference is Mon Oncle Antoine. It's by Claude Jutra, and it's considered one of Montreal's most greatest art house films.
Oh, okay, Montreal. Oh, yeah. So it's about a singing moose. The moose actually, as a child, as a baby moose, gets shot by a hunter, and it rips out his vocal cords. And so a mad Canadian veterinarian gives him like an auto-tune machine for a throat, and he grows up. And he learns how to sing from watching Christmas songs from all the campers. And all his life, all he wants to do is sing Christmas songs. And then Santa finds him and brings him to the Super Bowl, which does not happen during Christmas, but it's a special Christmas Super Bowl. And he's very nervous to sing. And then at the Super Bowl halftime show, and at the end he does. And Chris Tucker plays the They got Chris Tucker for this Canadian art house film. Chris Tucker plays the fast-talking, vaguely racist, as far as the writing goes, beaver character that's best friends with the moose, whose name is Tinkles. It's called Tinkle. Tinkle is the name of the moose who sings during the Christmas Super Bowl. That's what happened, I'm pretty sure. Also, it's all in French.
Oh, I must have seen a different film. Well, this is sort of like a contemporary French Canadian take on Scrooged with Bill Murray. So it's like this uncle. I think you said the word uncle in the title. I don't remember. So it's about this uncle who is like a head top dog at some.
He's a dog?
Company. I think he sells. The big cheese over at the NFT factory in French Canada, and he's making a lot of money off of his TikTok revenue.
He's revenue?
Like this really modern. yeah. It's like a 2021 Scrooge. So he's into like TikTok and NFTs. So he's really annoying, and he but he wants to go home for Christmas. Well, he doesn't really want to, but he feels he has to because his whole family's like relying on him to use his like tech money to buy them presents. So he gets roped into going home. It's like gray the whole time and like snowing. And he's just drunk the whole time he's at home, and everyone buys the present, like opens the presents that he bought on Christmas, and it's like this really dramatic ending scene where they're all opening the presents that he got, and he doesn't want to be there, and then he actually drops dead on the spot, and that's how the movie ends.
I've actually heard about that movie. That movie is an NFT, right? Like the whole film is actually an NFT.
I think you might be right.
So for you, Swade, I will say that you got the stereotype of the Canadian correct, except you just didn't think they were Canadians because for some reason they went to the Super Bowl, which is not in Canada, and you wanted to use Chris Tucker, right? For Catherine, I think your stereotype is a little off, but at least it was in Canada. And you ended it with him being drunk and dropping dead and being depressing. And the film does have a type of merriness, amarcord sort of ensemble cast that goes on and then just goes, everyone is.
Jeez.
I think I will go. The entities throws me off a little too much this time, so I'm gonna have to go with Swade.
That's
for
right.
The winner.
All right.
They don't have any technology in Canada. They just have like poutine and hockey pucks.
I'll do one more. We need some type of non-Western Christmas movie because I don't even know if those exist. There's a Korean film called Christmas in August, made in 1998 by Jin Ho. Go ahead, Catherine.
Okay. This Christmas in August takes place on a boat. And they wanted to celebrate Christmas on this boat in August. So instead of it being Christmas themed, it's actually like boat and summer theme. And so it's all about them just having a party on this boat, doing Christmas in August. They all get each other silly gifts. It's just kind of like a rom-com vibes, bright colors. They're all on the boat for like about a week. It's like a week-long thing. So like, cliques start to form with the people on the boat, and there's, interpersonal drama and stuff. All in the background of this like faux Christmas celebration. So that's kind of what I think. I think nothing like too tragic happens. Some people fall in love, some people get their heart broken, but that's just your typical Christmas movie. But it's in August this time.
See, I heard that it was a movie that was inspired by a Werner Herzog documentary, and it's actually just this one Korean woman is doing a documentary. She's on a boat with all these Korean fishermen who are all just like the saltiest, most like grumpy old like blue collar fisherman types, and the whole movie is her just interviewing them and talking to them about their times that they've celebrated Christmas, and then like it cuts between like this like old Korean dude like smoking a cigarette and being like, I haven't seen my wife in 2 years, we celebrated Christmas once, and then she took the kids, and I drink too much and I gamble. And I don't know about Christmas anymore. And it just cuts between that and like beautiful shots of the ocean, and the final scene is them like pulling the big haul in and just like driving to a little like boating to a little port, and the documentarian, she's actually like made a Christmas tree out of fish bones for all of the fishermen, and it makes them understand Christmas.
I would watch that.
Yeah, you should. It's a good movie that is real.
You had to work in the cigarette smoke there. Darn you.
Darn you.
Yeah, there are also there's an animated version of the film where all of the old Korean men are cute cartoon French women. It was a project. It was a 2021 project actually, and it was in memory of Anne Rice, who passed away recently.
Let me see.
That's wonderful.
I feel that Catherine captured how this film was marketed to me, but this film is marketed terribly, so yeah. I feel Swade gets closer to the plot, weirdly enough, but the tone feels a little off. But you know what? I'm not a loser, so I will pick a winner.
Okay.
And I will pick a winner because Swade's too try hard. So go ahead, Catherine, you win.
Yay!
God damn it! Defeated! Well, this was good. I mean, I feel like we really hashed out some Christmas details. We sort of got to the bottom of my sort of proclivities physically.
I'm sure there's more to come, unfortunately.
I will say, all of Walter's proclivities are too dark to be put in the podcast. Walter actually talked a lot about it in this episode. We had to cut a bunch out. Well, I think we learned a lot about each other. We learned a lot about our Christmas, and we learned that I am, I think, the only one in this podcast who likes Christmas.
I think so. I like Christmas, but not that much.
The shining baby Jesus Christmas boy. That's me. I think there's nothing left to say, but remind everyone, if you're going to watch a movie, leave it the lights on.